When we talk about wealth, our minds usually jump to numbers on a screen, right? Portfolios, income streams, all that stuff. But what if we're missing the most important part of the story? What if wealth isn't really something you chase, but something that's just a reflection of who you are? All right, let's get into this.
It's this weird paradox that trips up so many of us. I mean, you read the books, you understand the logic, but then the pressure's on, the market gets crazy, and suddenly you're making choices that go against everything you know is right. So what is really going on here?
And there it is. Morgan Housel just puts it perfectly. The real challenge, it's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most emotionally stable when fear and greed start banging on your door. The battlefield for your wealth, it's inside your own mind.
So this brings us to our first big idea. Money is basically a mirror. It doesn't just show you a bank balance, it reflects your fears, your beliefs, your patience, and yeah, your insecurities right back at you.
Just look at this breakdown. It makes it so clear. Intelligence is knowing what to do. You can learn that from a book, no problem. But temperament? That's about actually doing it. When it counts, when every emotion in your body is screaming at you to do the exact wrong thing. That is something that can only be forged under pressure.
So, what's driving these wild emotional reactions? Well, it's a mix of these hidden forces. First up, as Harv Eker explains, we all have this subconscious money blueprint that got wired into us in childhood. It runs our financial life without us even knowing it. Then you've got Scott Galloway pointing out how modern capitalism literally weaponizes our envy, especially on social media. And on top of all that, Tony Robbins reminds us it's actually physiological. During a market crash, the stress hormone cortisol floods your system, making rational thought pretty much impossible.
Okay, so if our own psychology is the biggest hurdle, how in the world do we get over it? Well, it's not about more hustle or trying to force it with willpower. The masters all agree. It's about building quiet, powerful systems that work for you, even when your emotions are working against you.
This quote from James Clear is, well, it's everything. We love setting these huge, ambitious goals, but our actual results, they're determined by our daily, often boring habits. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on your training, on your systems.
And this shows the power of a simple system perfectly. J.L. Collins just lays it out. Spend less than you earn, stay away from debt, and invest what's left over consistently. But that last step, that's the secret sauce. Learn to love the monotony. Real wealth building is often boring, and that's a feature, not a bug.
So here's the crucial part. That magic of compounding, it doesn't just apply to your money, it applies to you. Every single time you stick to a good habit, you're basically casting a vote for the person you want to become. And those tiny improvements over time, they completely redefine who you are.
This all leads to a really profound question. If we build these systems and we start to accumulate wealth, what are we actually aiming for? The goalpost might not be where we think it is.
This is the real price. Not a bigger house, not a faster car. True wealth is autonomy. It's the freedom to wake up and just decide how you're going to spend your day. It's about owning your time, which is your most finite, most precious resource.
But there's a huge obstacle to feeling wealthy, and Scott Galloway absolutely nails it here. The game is rigged to make you feel like you're never enough. Social media has put envy on steroids. You used to compare yourself to your neighbor, now you compare yourself to the highlight reel of a billion people.
So as we try to navigate this really complex world, it turns out the most valuable assets aren't new strategies or fancy technologies. They're actually timeless virtues.
Think about what truly sustains wealth over a lifetime. I mean, market knowledge is helpful, sure. Willpower will get you started, but the foundation, the thing that keeps everything from falling apart when markets and emotions go haywire, is a strong sense of purpose and integrity. Your moral compass of the ultimate stabilizer.
Napoleon Hill wrote this decades ago, and it has never been more true. Material success that's built on a weak moral foundation is just fragile. It might look impressive on the surface, but the first big storm that comes along is going to knock it right over.
So we've gone from psychology to systems and all the way to purpose. And it all leads to one final, powerful conclusion about what this whole journey is really for.
This is the stark, powerful lesson from Tony Robbins. You can hit every single financial goal you set for yourself. You can have all the money in the world. But if you lack a sense of fulfillment and inner peace, you failed at the only game that truly matters.
And that's what this is all about.
The journey of building wealth, when you do it right, is really a journey of building character. It teaches you patience, discipline, and perspective. The numbers in your account are just a byproduct of that process. So the final question isn't about your net worth. It's about your self-worth. Who are you becoming?